Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. And we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today, it's going to be a really fun episode. I'm going to have a lot of fun producing this show here today. So before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, I think it's important that I state from the onset that I'm a Kobe guy, right? I think that Kobe Bryant, obviously Kobe Bryant is my favorite player of all time. I think Kobe's one of the top three greatest players of all time. When I'm ranking my top three, I have Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I have Kobe, and then I have LeBron at 4. Some people disagree, which is fine. It's your opinion. However, what you're not going to do is bully me into having your opinion. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to defend my opinion. You could defend yours, and who knows? Maybe in the future we'll open it up to get some callers on here once in a while to kind of go back and forth with people, obviously in a respectful way. But, you know, I'm a little bit trepidatious for that because some people be getting in their feelings and all of a sudden they just lose all control. And before you know it, they start, the insults start. But one of the things I've been noticing is that of all the players in the top 10, Kobe's the one guy that I've heard people try to basically come up with really creative ways to have him either maybe in the bottom 10 or not even in top 5. Some people don't even have him in their top 10 whatsoever. And I've heard people try to pull it off at different times, but given the nature of the work that we do, producing 3 videos a day, 6 days a week, not just looking at this thing from, oh, I'm just watching basketball and talking about it, but there's a business side to it and doing other things. We seldom have the time to really sit down and really come up with some arguments. So this particular show is something that's been in the works for quite some time. I've been thinking about it, but other pressing, news comes out. You may have to push it back, produce this like the Russell Westbrook thing yesterday. So today I thought, okay, this would be a good day to really touch on it. Now, recently I was listening to a segment on Fox Sports Radio, and they were talking, it was featuring Chris Broussard and Rob Parker, who obviously these guys are amongst the best to ever do it. And they were there and they were talking about why Michael Jordan is the greatest athlete of all time. And then they opened it up to callers. One person called in. He said why he believes LeBron is the greatest player of all time. And I think the second person called in to say why he believes Kobe Bryant is the greatest of all time. Now, I think it's important that I say this from the onset. I don't think that Kobe is the GOAT or the greatest player of all time. I think I already said that at the beginning of the show. However, what I want you guys to pay attention to is the reasons that they gave to dismiss Kobe Bryant out of the conversation entirely. So what we want to do is we want to play this exchange for you guys here, and then we're going to come back and react to the comments there. So take a listen to that there.
Wasn't himself.
Right. Let's go to Jim in California. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
So, yeah, I think that anybody that argues LeBron is asinine because he hasn't dominated his era. Kobe Bryant absolutely dominated his era. The 90s was Jordan's, but the early 2000s was Kobe's. Nobody in the NBA wanted to face Kobe Bryant, and he dominated. So
you got Kobe as the GOAT?
Kobe is the GOAT, even though he don't have the hardware that Jordan has. He didn't win the 6 championships. But if Kobe Bryant played in any era, in any time, he can beat you so many different ways.
Well, I think all of these guys would be great in any era. I mean, LeBron, Jordan, all of them. But here's the problem with the Kobe argument, Robin. I know you know this.
You already know. I'm with you already without you saying it.
First 3 championships, he was the second best player on the team.
And that doesn't mean he was a bum or he didn't play. Shaq was the most dominating player in the NBA, Chris. He was.
Right. There's no doubt about it.
And if you go back and say he wasn't, you're lying.
Right. And then Kobe, Kobe's great, but he wasn't the most efficient shooter. Never shot better than 46% from the floor. Rob, they used to say Dominique Wilkins was a gunner in the 80s when he shot like 48%, 47%. And Kobe never even hit those numbers with Shaq drawing double and triple teams.
No doubt.
That would be my argument against.
So you heard what they had to say. Now, this is where we really get into the basketball aspect of this, and it's been a while since we produced a show like this, and I'm going to have a lot of fun because I spent quite a lot of time researching this topic here. Now, prior to producing the show, we put up a poll on our channel, and the question was simply this: about an hour ago, and depending on obviously when you see this episode, there are going to be more votes, so make sure you vote once you finally get a chance to see the show. The question was simply this: is Bill Russell a top 5 player of all time? Out of roughly 3,000 votes, 49% say yes, and 51% say no. And as you go through the comments, people give a litany of reasons as to why they believe what they believe. Now, I think that most people would find it plausible to rank Bill Russell ahead of Kobe Bryant without really thinking about it. I think if you ask those two gentlemen there, they would also probably rank Bill Russell ahead of Kobe. Now, what's interesting in that point that Chris made was the argument about percentages, which I'm going to get to in a moment. If you look at most sports publications, for instance, if we look at ESPN's ranking of the top 75 players, number 1, they have Jordan. Number 2, they have LeBron. Number 3, they have Kareem. Number 4, they have Russell. If you look at ESPN's top greatest players of all time, they have Kobe Bryant at number 10. They have Bill Russell again at number 6. So they have him ranked higher there once again. But one of the reasons I've heard, and one of the reasons he gave was, well, Kobe's field goal shooting percentage. Kobe only had one season when he shot close to 47% from the field. So here's my question. If Kobe Bryant's field goal shooting percentage, and let me just pull it up here. Kobe Bryant's field goal shooting percentage for his career was 44.7. If Kobe Bryant's field goal shooting percentage is the reason you have him ranked lower than for sure Bill Russell or even LeBron to some of these guys, then why do you have Michael Jordan ranked higher than LeBron when LeBron shoots a higher field goal percentage than Michael Jordan? The obvious answer would be, well, there's more to it. And as a matter of fact, there is. But there's something else I want to point out to you guys here. For the people saying that you cannot rank Kobe Bryant that high because of his field goal shooting percentage, I have something to tell you. Do you realize Kobe Bryant shot a higher field goal percentage than Bill Russell? I'll say it once more. Kobe Bryant, as a shooting guard, shot a higher field goal percentage than Bill Russell as a center. So why are we ranking Bill Russell ahead of Kobe Bryant? Now, obviously, some people now move the argument basically by moving the goalpost to, oh, no. You got to look at other things. Let me give you guys some more information. Do you know Bill Russell won championships with Bob Cousy, John Havlicek, Bill Sharman, and Sam Jones? Do you know what all 4 of those NBA greats have in common? They're all top 75 players. Well, who did Kobe Bryant win his championships with? Shaquille O'Neal, who's a top 75 player. Who's the next guy on the list? Pau Gasol. And later, he played with Steve Nash when he was about 34 years old. Now, some people will say, well, you got to look at what Bill Russell did from the defensive side of the floor. And it was stellar. I think some seasons he averaged, one season, if I'm not mistaken, Bill Russell averaged 24.7 rebounds. For his career, he averaged 22 rebounds. That's incredible. But Kobe Bryant is not a center. And Michael Jordan is never going to average 15 rebounds. Neither is Kobe. Neither is LeBron. Neither is Larry Bird. Neither is Magic Johnson. None of those players are going to average that amount of rebounds. So if we're not going to hold it against them, why are we going to hold it against Kobe? For the people that love defense, and I realize a lot of people play lip service to defense, and some NBA fans simply don't care about defense. Something that I've understood. You cannot tell me that you value defense and not have Kobe Bryant ranked high on your all-time list. It's clownish to say that, oh, I value defense, I value two-way players, but then Kobe Bryant should have been ranked high. Kobe Bryant made more all-defensive selections than Michael Jordan. They're tied for first place all first defensive team selections, although Jordan has a defensive player of the year. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and Gary Payton have the most all-defensive selections in NBA history, especially for guards. Tim Duncan is up there as well. For guards, they have the highest. Let me say it once more. Kobe, Gary Payton, and Michael Jordan have the most all defensive selections of any guards to ever play in the history of basketball. That's Kobe. So, to me, I don't understand what the big complication with Kobe Bryant being a top 3 player of all time. I've also seen some people rank Magic Johnson ahead of Kobe. Well, how can you rank Magic ahead of Kobe Bryant when Kobe Bryant beat more 50-plus win teams in the playoffs from the period of 2008 to 2010 than Magic Johnson did in his entire career? How do we reconcile that? How do we agree with this? And listen to what I just said, the dates. I said 2008, 08 to 010. So Shaq wasn't there. So you can't say, oh, well, it was because of Shaq. No, Shaq wasn't there. For about a 10-year period, Kobe basically averaged 30 points per game. Go look it up. To me, I value two-way players. Jordan is the greatest two-way player of all time. It's not up for discussion. He is the greatest two-way player of all time. And Kobe Bryant is right up there. You name me the person you would rather have to close a game other than Michael Jordan, if you're not going to pick Kobe. Who's the guy you picking? Who? You give me Kobe. If it's like, okay, if you had a selection between Kobe and Jordan and everybody else in terms of a pool, and the first guy picked Jordan, I'm picking Kobe. You can pick whoever else you want. And I'm 100% okay with that selection. 100% okay. Let me also say something else to some people here about Kobe Bryant's efficiency. Let's get into some X and O's quickly. I was watching some video today of Kobe versus the Magic in the 2009 NBA Finals. And I was just looking at the spacing on the floor and the difference between the spacing then and the difference between the spacing now. What you got to understand about what made Kobe Bryant so elite is the type of spacing he was playing against and where he was scoring from the floor. Kobe Bryant is predominantly a mid-range shooter, and he was an exceptional mid-range shooter. And if you go look at some of those highlights, what you'll notice is that the fundamental difference between basketball then and basketball now was that there were no stretch fours. Really, there weren't. You had Rashard Lewis. You had what's the other guy? Oh my God, he played with the Detroit Pistons. I can't remember his name. The Detroit Pistons. I forgot his name. Great player. You had a few in the NBA, but really they weren't doing that. So Kobe was playing against this suffocating defense, and he was getting fouled a lot. Go back and look at that series. He was getting fouled all over the place, and they would barely call it except unless it was explicit. An explicit foul, like a guy landing on your foot. So to me, I value defense. I value two-way players, guys that can get you a bucket and get you a stop. And the reason that a lot of people are saying that Kobe Bryant should be in the top 3 is the same reason that they're putting other players ahead of him. So to me, I think Kobe definitely deserves to be in the top 3, at the very least a top 5. You cannot bring me 4 players better than him. I'm sorry, you can't. Because we got to pull up the tape and watch. And it seems like a lot of people don't watch basketball. And a lot of people don't really, I think that they make their arguments based off of platitudes. I did a video the other day, we're talking about, about the All-Star game and how Kobe and Chris Paul used to say, let's go out there and Chris Paul is a great defensive player. And somebody's like, Chris Paul's a great defensive. I'm like, are you lost? Chris Paul made 7 all-first defensive teams. 7. That's more than LeBron. And people are like, you lost me when you said Chris Paul. I'm like, what? So to me, these are my reasons for this. So what I want to know from you guys is simply this. What do you think about my arguments, and where do you think Kobe should be ranked all time? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you on the next show.